Queen Victoria, one of the 4 iconic ships in the Cunard lineup. Victoria is a middle child, but she is not to be overlooked. Whereas Queen Mary II is the flagship ocean liner and Queen Anne is the newest member of the fleet, Queen Victoria stands alone for her distinct style, architecture and atmosphere.
In this episode of the Ship Files, we are taking you on a definitive tour of Victoria. From her spectacular triple-deck grand lobby and sweeping outdoor decks, to her anchor venues, including the Queen's Room, the Royal Court Theatre, and the magnificent Britannia Restaurant, we'll explore where she differs from her sister ships and where she proudly carries that timeless Cunard DNA. Let's step aboard Queen Victoria.
Now before we go any further, let's establish the key stats for this ship. Queen Victoria accommodates 2,061 guests, alongside 981 crew and staff. That's roughly a 2-to-1 guest to crew ratio, which is incredibly high for a ship of this size. She features 12 passenger decks, 8 bars and lounges, and 7 distinct dining venues. And for the readers out there, her spectacular library holds more than 6,000 books.
But enough with the numbers. That isn't why we travel. What is life actually like on board Queen Victoria? Walking the gangplank onto Queen Victoria, you know you are about to experience history. She is a Cunard ship after all, and the first place you will arrive is the Grand Lobby. Talk about putting your best foot forward. The Grand Lobby on Queen Victoria is spectacular.
It is one of the most beautiful atmospheric central spaces anywhere on the ocean. A wonderful piece of architecture spanning 3 decks. An incredible visual. But this space isn't just for the photos. It acts as a central hub for coordinating your way around the ship.
In the lobby itself, you will find some of Queen Victoria's best venues. On deck 1, you have the purser's office and a nice spot to hang out and take in the atmosphere on board. Moving up a deck, you have the lower level of that iconic library, alongside the chat room for coffees and pastries in the morning or beers and cocktails in the evening. You'll also find the Veranda Restaurant here, one of the specialty dining venues on board. On deck 3, you of course have the upper level of the library, the chill midships bar and lounge, the card room for the bridge players and jigsaw addicts, and just off the lobby, the bookstore.
From the lobby you can easily find your way to some of the main venues on Queen Victoria, including the theatre, the Britannia Restaurant and the Queen's Room. As we start to explore the rest of the ship, we will break down the tour into 4 main areas: outdoor, food and drink, entertainment and accommodation. But before we do, seeing the ship in this way is just one way to get to know Queen Victoria. If you want to truly experience what life is like on board, you can watch our full feature film documenting our recent voyage through the Mediterranean right here on our channel. You'll see Victoria cruise through Italy, Spain and the south of France. Now, back to our tour.
Let's stay on deck 3, but make our way outside to the promenade deck. The promenade on Queen Victoria is a thing of beauty. The sweeping teak decks, the traditional wooden loungers, the benches. It is all dripping with class and nostalgia. Uninterrupted views of the ocean, the port in which you dock, and the general feelings of absolute relaxation make the promenade one of our favorite areas on Victoria.
When you sail with Cunard, you have to remember you are making a deliberate choice. You are choosing to experience a different era of ocean travel, the classic era. The promenade is a great example of that. It feels like a genuine privilege to walk a circuit of this deck and just soak in that timeless combination of sea and sky. Continuing with the outdoor areas of the ship, we move up to deck 9 to discover two of the most important hubs on Queen Victoria.
Aft, we have the Lido Pool. On our recent cruise through the Med, this was of course one of the most popular areas of the ship. It's a perfect place to catch some rays, cool off in the pool, listen to live music with a drink, and generally just experience that holiday vibe. Watching your ship cut its temporary signature into an ocean, river, or fjord is one of those take it all in moments on any cruise. This space on Victoria is cool. Loads of loungers, a great pool, hot tubs, and waiters bringing those drinks directly to your chosen spot. Here, you will also find the Lido grill for a quick burger or hot dog.
On the same deck but midship, you will find another main pool area on Queen Victoria, the Pavilion. It's another gorgeous space, but somewhat more protected from the elements than the Lido Pool. In summer, this area is an absolute sun trap and a great place to hang out, relax and get your tan on. Adjacent to the pavilion is the Winter Garden, featuring a retractable roof. This bar and lounge is a brilliant spot to relax and unwind. It's a space for drinks, quizzes, live music, and while we were on board, a perfect place to watch the World Cup.
The Winter Garden provides the ideal segue to make our move back indoors and explore the first of our food and drink venues, the Lido Buffet. As on most cruise ships, the buffet is a key venue, and the Lido is no different. It is a lovely space with floor-to-ceiling windows, light decor, and most importantly, nice food. During our last cruise, the variety and quality on offer in the Lido was top-notch.
Breakfast has everything you would expect, delivered well. The options at dinner were always reliable and included some regulars we love such as sushi, creamy soups, and freshly made pizza and pasta. But we found lunch to be the peak for Lido. From sandwiches and sausage rolls to burritos and nachos, fish and chips, more sushi, and generally a fresh, delicious menu on offer. The Lido is also one of the more relaxed venues on board. There's no dress code on formal nights, making it a place to read a book and snack just as much as to have a full 3-course meal.
In the evening, the Lido also hosts a pop-up dining option. Sometimes it's Italian or Indian, and for our visit, bamboo, an Asian-inspired offering. We love bamboo. The food was delicious, the vibe was right, and it provided a completely different experience and menu compared to the standard buffet or the Britannia Restaurant, which moves us nicely onto Britannia.
Located on decks 2 and 3, Britannia is the main restaurant on Queen Victoria. It's a venue for breakfast, lunch and of course those special Cunard formal nights, which are one of those unique elements that make sailing this way so special. The Britannia Restaurant is spectacular, not only architecturally with its beautiful design and attention to detail, but also for its grand ambiance. Eating in Britannia feels like an event itself, whether it's the formal night and the outfits, or a relaxed lunch watching the world drift by. It's a special place to eat.
Next to the main restaurant, you also have the separate Britannia Club restaurant for those staying in club-level accommodation. This provides a very similar menu, but in an exclusive space of its own. Moving back towards the grand lobby, you will find the aforementioned chat room and veranda restaurant. Whereas Bamboo is an evening pop-up option, the Veranda Steakhouse is the permanent specialty venue on board. Another great place to eat is the Golden Lion Pub. Bring classics like fish and chips, shepherd's pie, cheese toasties, and Scotch eggs to sit alongside a nice pint or a glass of wine.
The Golden Lion is another of the informal venues on board, so no dress code. Just a chilled atmosphere for pub quizzes, watching sport, or listening to live music. Even though it shares the same name as the pub on its sister ships, this might be our favourite iteration of the Golden Lion. The Queen Victoria version feels cosier yet roomier. The decor and layout conjure up feelings of those glorious English seaside pubs. Space is largely resigned to the annals of history by soulless corporate chains. This pub feels like travelling back to another time, especially when watching the ocean drift by from those gorgeous bay window seats.
As you leave the Golden Lion and head towards the theatre, you arrive in one of other glorious spaces on Victoria, the Royal Arcade. Just like the Grand Lobby, this area feels like a film set as much as a cruise ship.
Once you have taken the inevitable 3,000 pictures of the space, you can see the effort that has gone into the design, the flow, and the details. Leaving the Royal Arcade brings you to the entrance of another core entertainment space, the Royal Court Theatre. When Queen Victoria launched, this was actually the first theatre at sea with its own private viewing boxes, and they remain a standout feature to this day. The theatre itself is a great venue for evening shows and those Cunard daily lectures. When we were last on board, we checked out Bruce Grobbelaar talking about his crazy career, alongside evening rock, country and dance performances.
Heading back towards midship, the next flagship venue of Queen Victoria reveals itself, the Queen's Room. As we have said, traveling with Cunard is choosing a particular style of cruise, and the Queen's Room is one of those venues that makes Cunard, well, Cunard. During the day, it serves as another space for lectures and talks. In the afternoon, it's the designated spot for traditional afternoon tea, and in the evening, it transforms into a beautiful two-tier venue for ballroom dancing and 80s themed parties.
Another key venue you may like to spend your evenings, or for that matter your afternoons, is the Commodore Club. All the way up on Deck 10, the Commodore Club provides one of the best views on the entire ship. Whether arriving or leaving port, or simply looking out over the bow of Queen Victoria while having a drink or catching up on work, this is a magnificent space with incredible views. Again, the decor, the atmosphere, and the way the space flows are executed beautifully here.
Once you have finished dancing or people watching, you will be heading back to your stateroom. And here is where we will also head for the next stage of our ship guide. For our most recent voyage, we were staying in a balcony room. The room is fine. Some elements feel classic, others feel a little dated in 2026, but overall the accommodation is decent. In terms of the details, there are all the basics you would want, including a kettle, fridge, safe, decent storage, and a sofa area. But obviously, the balcony itself is the primary reason for booking a room like this. Arriving in Newport, watching the ocean pass by, or if you are lucky enough, dolphin watching.
Before we give our overall take on Queen Victoria, we must first check off a few honourable mentions. The spa on Victoria is a nice space to escape the noise and unwind, and it contains what is surely one of the best views from a sauna anywhere in the world. Other outdoor areas on higher decks include pickleball courts, golf nets and the classic giant chessboard. Back in the Royal Arcade there are also shops for everything from designer bags to books, perfumes to merch. There is also the Yacht Club, which is another great space for drinks and dancing, acting as the late night venue on board. Of course there are other must-haves such as the gym, casino and kids zone dotted around Victoria. It's such a pleasant ship to stroll through and around that you will inevitably discover your own little corners and quiet spots to hang out or take in the views.
Overall, Queen Victoria is a special ship. A middle sister of the Cunard fleet, sure, but not any less special than Mary, Anne or Elizabeth. She is a ship of stunning design with a grand lobby that must be the best in the entire fleet. A ship with a personality and atmosphere that is entirely unique. Victoria has all the standard must-haves for a cruise, including the dining menus, the pools, the bars, and the entertainment. But let's not forget, that is not the only reason why you choose to sail this way.
You choose Cunard because you want that feeling of history, of class, and of nostalgia. That distinct feeling that you are sailing on a piece of maritime history. In that regard, Victoria is magnificent. When you are sitting in the Queen's Room for afternoon tea, or listening to a lecture in that theatre, you know you are experiencing something genuinely unique. Of course, nowadays there are mega resort style ships that may have more water slides and interactive screens, and that's cool. But for exactly what you want when you choose Cunard, Queen Victoria delivers in spades. So if you are lucky enough to walk that same gangplank as we did, enjoy her, take those pictures, dress up for that formal night, and experience cruising exactly as they did during the golden era.
If you enjoyed this episode of Ship Files, you should check out our full feature film on our recent Queen Victoria cruise through the Mediterranean here. You can also see our full world voyage on Queen Anne here.
And to follow our journey with exclusive videos and behind the scenes info, check out cruisingwithmillennials.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video soon.